But first, if ever any of you ever go to Minnesota, and if you ever are, you're always welcome to come and visit and see what the countryside is like. I would be happy to welcome you all. I think that maybe this video is a very rare thing. And I think that maybe I should play it once a year so I remember what a wonderful thing happened in this theater. I've lived in Hawaii now 40 years, and I taught here for 25. And I think it was a golden age. I think it was a golden time of this theater. And I hope that there will be another golden age, because my predecessor definitely had a golden time going here. But I hope that next year, when Betty does Oedipus Rex, that you will all support Ray's fundraiser and support her on the main stage, and Don and all the people that have worked in the past. But all the plays that I first directed, the first plays I directed here for about 10 years, I created 12 plays with Vicky Takamine. And they were all Hawaiian plays, and we created them all through improvisation. And in every single play, I made sure that we put in one sentence in every play. It appeared in every play. And that was, everything changes. And so this is a ritual moment of acknowledgement that the end of my time in this theater is on and is here, and maybe it's the end of your time. But I hope that you remember one thing that I always said: go beyond the teacher. I love all of these things, but I couldn't help but remember what Jabez said, that he's going to graduate with a 4.0 from Manoa. Jabez was the biggest fuck up in history. He was always late. He was worse than Oki. He was always late. But Oki's wonderful. He doesn't get late now. But somehow he had to take English 100 4 times. But he finally did it, and he has moved on, and he's doing good. And I want to encourage you all to try to get the bachelor's degree, or however you want to define your life as successful. Just go beyond the teacher. Go beyond this theater, this wonderful theater. But the theater always is, the theater has saved my life. The theater is a wonderful, wonderful thing, and I'm so glad that all of you had, I hope, a good experience in this marvelous Leeward Theater. So I want to say one thing about the change. Frances came to my office today and she said, why did you do that Joe mentioned, of looking at all of us in the eyes when we started? Just about everybody in this group was in a beginning acting class. Not everybody, but quite a lot. And all the beginning acting classes started the same, because this was kind of my homage to my flower child roots. And I was always terrified to walk into a room of strangers and do that little thing, and putting each person in a circle and looking at them in the eye, and then moving on to the next one. So some of you, I never really told what that's about, but I want to just say briefly that in that moment, I tried to be empty in my mind, not be too attached to my emotions, like, oh, I like this one, I don't like this one, just neutral. I just tried to be present. Sometimes just being present is the most important thing. Just be there. But then, and some thoughts would cross my mind, like, oh, this one's very scared, and this one very beautiful, and this one blah, blah, blah. But mostly I was practicing the balance of neutrality. But then also, I would breathe. I would take a breath, and I would breathe in your energy. And I would exhale my energy to you to breathe. And in that moment, I accepted you as my student. And I was willing to play the role of teacher if you were willing to play the role of student fully. And I take it very seriously that I've had the role of teacher. And I think you have taken it very seriously to have the role of student. And I know sometimes I've turned into the dragon and yelled at you and all of that, but if you think about it, I never yelled at any of you or anybody in any cast that you were ever in out of personal anger or personal rejection of you, never. I knew that what we were doing was creating love. But I would just get intense about the theater. You just have to support the theater. You just keep your agreements. Make this play passionate. Put your guts into it. And that's when I would yell. And sometimes I'm pretty sure I yelled really awful things, but it was really, if you think about the plays that we have done on this stage in the past 20 years, and the person who's been in more of them than any is Jedi, but a whole bunch of you have been in, 6 and 5 and 4 and 3, and there's no other theater on this island, and there's hardly any theater that I've ever heard of, where people come back and audition for a play because it's going to have a large cast of 40 or 50, and they want to have the discipline of being involved with a marvelous group of people and turn out what I really believe was a wonderful product of theater. And the plays weren't necessarily appreciated by anybody else, but we knew they were fabulous, and the people that did come went, oh my God, these people have fabulous energy, and that's what you had. You had and you have tremendous energy. So there's nothing really else I can say after this wonderful video that says it all, except that I do love every one of you. This whole thing we've been doing here is about love, and love is not kiss, kiss, hug, hug. It's about in your heart. And I have just felt love for every one of you, and I have so much respect for you that you were willing to go through the discipline of the theater and do it. And when we leave today, I want to either hug or shake hands or kiss every single one of you. Because now, my time in this theater is complete. Not necessarily over. I will come back to Hawaii next January and February and March and live in the tallest building in Waikiki. But my time of being an official person in this theater is over. And you're the ones, you are the people that made it so marvelous. And I thank you very, very much. And just remember that for a while, here in this theater, we created a space where you could be your absolute best. And I think you were. So I thank you very, very much. And I wish you a warm and friendly and eternal aloha.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you, Paul.